Not gonna lie, I'm not too excited about a lot of the seafood I've seen so far. Okay, I can honestly say the only grocery store I looked forward to less was Walmart. I'm going to 10 different grocery stores to rate their seafood section because I'm curious to see which one has the best. Now the criteria I'm going to use is variety, price, experience, freshness, and taste when I cook them back at home. And so far I've been to the 6 different grocery stores that you see on your screen. Now today I'm going to a grocery store that's supposed to be closely related to one that I rank the lowest, and it's going to be Sam's Club. Now Walmart actually owns Sam's Club, and for a long time it was pretty independent of Walmart, but recently there's been a lot more crossover between them, and I've heard that even the supply chain that they get their seafood and other products has really become more homogenous. So first thing I grabbed were the imitation crab meat sticks that were viral that are $10 for that 2-pack. I've had them before and I really liked them. The next thing that caught my eye were these snow crab legs. I thought they'd be pretty cheap, but they were $16.98 per pound, and not a single one of these packages looked like they had clusters that were like full clusters. All of them looked like they were pretty broken up. I grabbed this one because it looked the best out of all of them. Looking around, there really wasn't much kind of variety here. I did finally find the fresh fish, but it wasn't as big a selection as other places that I've seen. First, I grabbed some ahi tuna that says it's never been frozen, and it was $8.98 per pound, which actually is a pretty decent price for tuna. And next, I checked out the Atlantic salmon. Now, you had the choice of skin on or skinless. The skinless was $1 more per pound, so I decided to go with the skin on salmon, which was $10.37 per pound. Now, looking at the expiration date, it said it was going to expire within a day or two of me buying it, but if you dig down a little farther, you can find some better quality, fresher salmon, and that's exactly what I found here. One thing I was really surprised was they didn't have any fresh cod sitting out. So I actually had to go to the freezer section to even find cod. And when I did, it was in this 2-pound bag. And at $21 for this 2-pound bag, that's about $10.50 per pound. And the last thing I grabbed were my shrimp, which were $21.30 instead of $21.25, because honestly, I didn't see a wide variety of shrimp there, and they were $8.44 per pound. So based on what I saw, the variety was a 6 out of 10, the price was right at national average at 7 out of 10, and my experience was pretty basic, so I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10 as well. Okay, so I'm back from Sam's Club, and this is everything I got. Let's go through everything and check out the freshness and the quality of the seafood. Okay, let's go ahead and start first with these snow crab legs. Now, like I said, they were $16.98 per pound, which is $4 per pound less than Wegmans, but they are more than, say, like Aldi and places like that. Let's go ahead and open them up and just see how they smell and how they look. Okay, first thing I notice, which is a little bit disappointing, I thought I was getting full clusters, and they were in the package and made to look like full clusters, but it appears I'm getting kind of broken bits. And I noticed that in the store too, that a lot of the clusters they had, or a lot of the containers they had, were just separated bits. Now, for $4 less than what Wegmans sold me, which are like nice, which are nice full clusters, I'm not too pleased with that. All right, so sticking with the crab theme, we're gonna go ahead and go to the fake crab meat. Now, these things were viral about a year or so ago, and I actually bought a pack, and they were really good, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna open one up, make sure it smells okay, all that kind of stuff, and show you how this actually pulls apart really similar to a crab leg. Now you can see they have the typical crab leg smell. All of the red that you normally would get on like a real crab leg obviously is fake on this. The paprika, I think, in the ingredients is probably what's giving it that color, and I'll show you the ingredients list in a second. Now, the whole point of this is to mimic crab meat, and you can see like a lot of different imitation crab meat is just rolled up pollock. They did a nice job of making it so it actually has like strands and shreds as you pull it apart. That does make it seem closer to real crab meat than other imitation crab meat. Now, as far as ingredients, here are the list of ingredients there. And you can see as far as ingredients go, this is pretty long. This is probably considered an ultra processed meal right here. So if you're someone that's trying to avoid that, this may not be the best choice. Next up are their easy peeled shrimp. Again, this is where I started noticing that there's just not as much inventory at Sam's Club compared to other places. They had a good amount of shrimp back there, but they didn't have my 21.25 count. They had a sign for it, but I guess it was not there. So these are 2130 count. They are tail on. They are not peeled, but they are deveined, and they are considered jumbo. So again, don't listen to this jumbo, go by the count size. As always, I already have some defrosted for the video. And you can see here, they're a decent size. Next up is the cod, and it's another one that I was really surprised they didn't have fresh cod. They had fresh salmon, they had fresh tuna, but no fresh cod was a surprise to me. So I had to find the frozen cod, and this is Atlantic cod that is actually farm raised. I don't know if I just didn't pay attention to it before, but I believe this is the first cod that I've bought that has been farm raised from any of the stores. And it's actually grown in Latvia, which I haven't seen that before either. And just like the shrimp, I've already defrosted some of them just so we can get a good idea of what it looks like before I cook it. I can see, just like other frozen cod, this one kind of flakes. It doesn't look like it's gonna flake apart too well. It looks a little more mealy and mushy than a fresh cod, obviously, because what happens is when you freeze it, the little water crystals inside the fish actually can explode, and they actually change the texture a lot if it's not froze properly. Next is the salmon, and this is a huge salmon fillet. I've been buying smaller pieces because it's just a lot easier for me to process, but this is a big one right here. Let's go ahead and open it up, and then I'll cut off a portion I'm gonna use today and then save the rest for another video. And this is Atlantic salmon like all the other ones. Okay, well, before I go on here, this is not just skinless or skin on, it's also not scaled. So if you're getting this thinking the scales are gonna be off of there, you can see that the scales are on. Not gonna lie, I'm not too excited about a lot of the seafood I've seen so far. Okay, out of all the salmon that I've gotten so far, this is by far the leanest Atlantic salmon that I've seen. You can see here, there's really not much white marbling in there at all. Because of that, it's probably gonna be one of the salmons I like the least. And last, but hopefully not least, is the tuna. Let's just take one piece of these tuna out and kind of go from there. Honestly, I don't have high hopes after the salmon. Okay, I mean, it's a decent thickness. You can see there. The color is okay. No smell or anything like that. I don't love the little dimples on the back side of it. That's not something that seems good. It seems firm. Oh, we'll give it a try. For every single grocery store, I've been doing the same recipes. For the salmon, I keep it pretty simple and just cube it up and add some seasoning and then put it in the air fryer at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. Next for the cod, again, simple, just a little egg wash. And then I've been using Zatarain's fish fry because I find it the easiest to use. The seared tuna, just some everything bagel seasoning, and you just press it firmly into it after adding a little bit of teriyaki sauce to it. Next, all you're gonna do for that is just sear it off real quick. For the shrimp and the imitation crab, I just sauteed them in butter and a little bit of seafood seasoning as well. And for the snow crab legs, I just steamed them for about 10 minutes. Okay, I can honestly say the only grocery store I looked forward to less was Walmart when it comes to the taste test. So right now, based on everything I cooked, I really wasn't impressed with the quality, but let's hope the taste is better. I'm actually gonna start off with something that's not necessarily a Sam's Club dish. Let's go ahead and start with the imitation crab meat. Now I just sauteed this in butter with some of my seafood seasoning. Warmed up. It actually does taste really similar to crab meat. Maybe this won't be as bad as I thought. Next up, let's go to the shrimp. Now, one thing I noticed when I was cooking these shrimp is that the quality of the deveining really varied from shrimp to shrimp. They're actually really good. They are sweet. They got a good texture to them. Way better than I thought they would be. But like I said, I did notice that a lot of them, even though they said deveined, still had a good amount of the vein in the shrimp itself. So if you're someone that's absolutely I want deveined shrimp, not a single vein in there, piece of the vein in there, these are not the best option. Let's try out the salmon now. Now I can already tell these are way leaner than some of the other salmon. I cooked these exactly the same, which is 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. Go and give it a taste. No fat whatsoever. The inside is still moist, but it's not rich. It's a really basic taste. This is the most bland salmon that I've had in this whole series. Now it's time for the snow crab legs. And for $16 a pound, you shouldn't be getting this, where everything is broken up. Like some of my clusters out of the package looked like this. Like that's not what a snow crab cluster should be. They actually did pretty well there. Is it the best snow crab I've ever had? No. Is it the worst? Also no. I wish it was a little better for $16.98 per pound though. That's up there close to Wegmans. If you were to tell me you can spend an extra $4 per pound and get the snow crab from Wegmans, I would get the snow crabs from Wegmans every single day of the week. And last but not least is their tuna. Now this was the hardest tuna to sear that I've done so far. I noticed when I was picking it up to put the everything bagel seasoning on it, liquid was coming out of it, which really technically that shouldn't happen because it wasn't frozen according to the packaging, but I feel like there was a lot of water retained in here. So when I went ahead and put the soy sauce on it and got it all ready for the everything bagel seasoning and tried to get that stuff stuck in, it just wouldn't stick in. And so then when I went to go sear it, I just couldn't get a good sear on this because I felt like there was just a lot of water and liquid coming out, which I haven't had happen in any other tuna steak yet. I'm gonna cut one piece and give it a taste though, even though I'm a little hesitant, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. It's got that bright red color to it. The texture just feels a little off with this. It's a little bit mushy instead of being like tender, but still have that like a firm bite to it. And compared to other ones, especially like the higher end ones that I tried at Wegmans and even Whole Foods, this one has more of a metallic taste to it compared to that like really fresh tuna taste that the other ones had. So with all that, my final rankings are 5 out of 10 for freshness and 5 out of 10 for taste. That puts Sam's Club right down near the bottom with Walmart at 29 points.